Good morning and welcome back, fellow rebels. So, if you've been following our channel, you know that we've been staying in the Austin, Texas area for the last 5 months. Well, we are now over on the western part of the state, and we've got a reason for being over here. But today we are on a journey. We've got some errands to run, and then we're going to go on a couple of really fun outings, and we're going to take you along with us. So let's get started. We finished our first errand this morning, but we didn't show you because there's really nothing to show. But if you've been following our channel for a little while, you know that we recently bought this vehicle that we're driving in. It's a 2012 Toyota Highlander that we bought from our friends Dave and Gina. Hi guys. Anyway, so we just found out about this after we bought the vehicle. Shane was on a Facebook group for second generation Highlanders, and he discovered that it wasn't a recall so much, but it was something called a customer care.
Yeah, some kind of customer care thing.
And anyway, so it has to do with the paint on the car, and some of the paint areas on the car are coming off. And so if you can get your vehicle to the dealership, get it registered and on the books to be done before November 4th of this year, then they will repaint it for you for free. And so we just went over to the dealership here in Midland, Texas, where we are now, and had them get it on the books, and then they had sent us over to a auto body place to get it done. So that was our first stop, and we've got it now scheduled to get done at the end of this month, which is good because we'll be in this area. So we wanted to get that done as soon as possible. And now our next stop is the post office to get a P.O. box while we're here, because we're going to be here for a couple months and we're going to need a place to get our mail. So now we're going to the post office. Yippee. We've come to Luigi's in downtown to eat lunch before we go on our little expeditions. I got the lasagna and Shane got
Spaghetti and ravioli.
Spaghetti and ravioli. We're gonna dig in. We're in downtown Midland. We just ate there at Luigi's. Lunch was good. And now we're headed over to a museum. It's called the Permian Basin Petroleum Museum, and it's all about the oil industry. And that's, Shane and I are fixing to, starting tomorrow, we're headed up to do some more gate guarding for a company, and we'll show you all about that. We've got one video out about that already, but this will be a different kind of a video, and we'll tell you all about it, answer a lot of the questions that people have. So stay tuned for that video coming up soon. So here we are at the Permian Basin Oil Museum, and since we're going to be going out working in the oil fields, we thought we might stop by here and kind of see a little bit more about the oil industry, how it works, and all their gadgets that they use. And I think you're allowed to go out here and walk around the property and see all the different equipment and stuff, but I don't know, we're gonna go see. So the Permian Basin, I'd never heard of that before, but the Permian Basin apparently is an area of the country that encompasses western Texas and some of southwestern New Mexico. And we'll put a little map on the screen to show you kind of the area which it encompasses. But so that's what this museum is all about. So let's go and get educated.
Let's check out some oil. Oil.
If you're from the south, you might call it oil.
Yeah, it's oil from the south, oil. But anyway, we thought it'd be interesting to learn some more about, you know, where our fuel comes from. Well, this thing here is called a heater treater. It separates the water from the gas, and I guess it blows off they burn it off at the top, the natural gas.
If you're driving around in western Texas, you will see one of these out in the distance, because you'll see all the gas being burned off. It just creates this big huge flame. don't know how many feet high, but you'll see them all over the place. Just out in the distance. You can see them from everywhere.
Especially at nighttime.
Yeah, especially at nighttime.
It's like a 30, 40, 50 foot, I don't know, huge flame.
They call it derrick.
Oh, derrick, yeah. Those are called derricks. This looks like a big tower. One thing, if you don't know about Texas, is there's a lot of ants. A lot of ants.
A lot of ants.
But we found some fancy ants here that have like a construction ability, because they look like they built a high-rise ant. I've never seen anything like this.
Is that not the craziest thing ever? I'm assuming those are ants, huh?
I don't know.
Maybe they're not ants.
It's like three-dimensional ant piles. It's like they're above the ground.
Oh, here's a bunch of ants right here. Right there, you see them?
Oh yeah, maybe they're building a new one.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
It's weird. Susan wants me to guess on what this is called. This here, I called it the shutty-offy thingy. A bunch of valves.
A bunch of valves.
So what's it called?
It's a wellhead assembly.
A wellhead assembly.
Or they call it a Christmas tree wellhead assembly.
Christmas tree, yeah.
It controls the flow of gas and oil from a high-pressure well, and that joker is hot to the touch.
It is the shutty-offy thingy. Redirect stuff, yeah. What did you learn?
Well, I learned that for every oil drilling setup that they do, it costs $10 million. And it costs $3 million for every fracking drilling that they do. That is expensive.
Even after all that expense, it's still cheaper than wind, more efficient than wind, hydrogen, nuclear. How much did they say nuclear? One nuclear power plant releases, they got to dispose of 20 tons of nuclear waste every year. That's not good. I was talking about Midland before oil. You know, if the time machine was real and I could go back in time, I would come to Midland or a place like this and buy up all the land that I can get, because you know what's coming. So apparently it says here that the prospectors had failed to find oil in the Permian Basin in any significant quantities until the W.H. Abrams #1 well. And then Abrams, he sold his mineral rights to the Texas company, which was later called Texaco, who began to drill. And then at 7:45 on July 20th, 1920, black gold erupted from the well. Black gold. A lot of rich people became super rich.
Yes, they did. So this is where the wildcatter term comes into play.
Wildcatter?
Yeah. All the people would cross the country and then taking food for several days, they'd sleep under the canvas and they'd travel through the desert, and they were known as wildcatters.
Yeah, it'd be pretty wild to come out to the desert back then.
That's really cool because these are actual legitimate.
You see the sweatband on that thing.
Yeah. These are actual legitimate possessions that a family owned that came out to the west to drill for oil, so that's pretty cool.
An old gas station storefront.
What year was milk only 28 cents for half a gallon?
28 cents for milk. Gasoline 15 cents per gallon.
Besides the vehicles looking different in today's society, this is basically what it looks like out here.
Yeah, it looks about the same. This old thing.
That is pretty cool.
This is redwood pipe. That's crazy.
That is crazy. It was discovered in 2015.
Yeah. So it's they said wooden pipes.
It was originally constructed by Shell Oil Company to transport oil from the Yates Field in Errands, Texas. Remember we drove through Errands?
Yeah, I ran.
To a concrete 1,000,000-barrel storage tank. Oh, that's crazy.
huge Pegasus sound. But that thing is worth a fortune.
Oh yeah, I bet it is.
There's these drill bits. Tungsten. Cross drill. This big thing. Ringing rock bit. A fishtail bit.
Can any of you remember any of these things in here? Like these giant lamps and the phones, obviously the rotary phones.
Old TVs.
Console TVs. Now let me tell you something. My parents had a console TV up until last year in 2023.
Not that old though.
Not that old, but that's definitely from the 50s. Look at that.
That's a cool TV.
That is a cool
That's
TV.
A Zenith. It's crazy looking. Everything try to be futuristic back then.
Look at the radios. Even the radios were even cool back then.
RCA was a big company. TV guide. Kids nowadays don't know anything about that. No remotes. You had to turn the channels by yourself.
Yeah, we were the remote controls.
Kids with the remotes.
We were the remote controls. Yeah.
You know, one of the best weapons of the 80s is that right there. You smack somebody and these things will not break. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do with them. That's kind of one of the things we've lost with cell phones, the ability to hang up the phone, to slam the phone down. You can slam those phones as hard as you want. But nowadays you just, push buttons. But yeah, slamming it. My sister got mad at my stepbrother back in the day, and he was trying to use the phone. She was talking to her boyfriend or something, and she smacked him in the face in the head with that phone. It did the trick. He left her alone. The good old days.
So you always hear about how we could potentially run out of oil someday, and I always thought that can't be right. There's no way that we can run out of oil. Well, this right here tells you that we won't ever run out of oil.
I've heard from oil field workers that say that it replenishes itself faster than what we could ever use it. So it's not scarce. They say it's scarce. They can charge you more money for it, but it'll be there forever. There's oceans of it underneath there, just literal oceans of oil. Because it's not scarce. Every one of these are wrong.
Those are all myths.
All myths.
I don't think most people know what fracking is, but it says that most wells need to be fractured. Most wells need to be fractured to get the oil and natural gas flowing. The rock is fractured by pumping fluid, either water-based or gel-like, down the wellbore at pressures averaging 7,000 psi at 3,500 gallons per minute. And this causes tiny breaks in the rock. And this over here is going to show you what that does. The water is going to shoot out of these little holes right here on the side of this drill thing. This is a computer-generated idea of how that happens in the rocks. It just shot, that was the 7,000 psi of water.
Cracks this way, cracks that way.
Cracks every way, and then they pump in the fluid there. As you can see, it's going on here. And then when they remove the fluid, it'll hold the fractures open to allow the oil and natural gas to flow into the well. And that's how fracking is done. So this is the setup of what an oil rig looks like. This is the derrick that you see right here, and it has a drill, and it drills all the way down into it, and this is all the other stuff that is around. So this is what it looks like when you see these derricks in the distance. This is kind of the setup that they have there.
We're driving around and you see these things pumping. Those are called horsehead or nodding donkeys, but they're used to pump the oil out of the ground where there's not a lot of pressure. It's kind of a long-term thing. and I just keep on working at it and get all the oil out of the reserve, out of the well.
That's what they look like. You see those as you're driving all over West Texas.
So you always wonder what's, you know, the oil industry is not just for
Gasoline.
It's not just for gas, it's for a lot of products we use for plastics and stuff. Like some of these. Pretty much everybody in the world uses some of these products, or a lot of them. Cold seats.
So basically our society uses a lot of petroleum products to make things.
Clothing and everything.
Even the tennis shoes you wear.
Yeah.
Your sunglasses, your straws.
Makeup. So a lot of people think we need to stop drilling for oil. You're going to stop buying any of these products? I don't think so. This museum has so many different things in it, it's crazy. We thought we were at the end of it and it just keeps going and going.
It's definitely worth $12 per adult entry fee.
What we got? There's fluorite. They got all these different mineral samples.
Here's your chair.
That's worth a fortune. Come from the natural state.
Oh, from Arkansas.
That thing is worth a lot of money. Wow.
That's from Uruguay. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is so cool.
It's crazy. Here's galena. Let's get that in silver mining. Silver and lead, maybe. Looks like a boot. There you go. Jessieville, Arkansas.
So anyone who doesn't know, I don't know if you can see me really well, but in Arkansas, you can actually dig for your own diamonds at Murfreesboro State Park, and any that you find, you can keep. And in Jessieville, where this one is from, they have places where you can dig for quartz and other things that you get to keep if you find it. So that's pretty cool.
I think somebody recently found some quartz like this. Is worth, I think they said $4 million. It was bigger than this, but I think it was like way bigger. But it was all one piece. And this is cool. So if you're into rocks and minerals and stuff like that, this could be its own museum here. Wow. Calcite.
Just for looks.
Yeah, they're not really pumping oil, they're just for looks.
So I think it was kind of worth the money. It was $12 per person for adults to get in it. I think it might be a little less for seniors or students, but it was definitely worth $24. This is 2024, so if you come here 6 years from now, I don't know what the price will be, but it was worth it.
If you're, yeah, it's a lot of knowledgeable stuff, a lot of things you didn't really know, and you know,
a lot of educational. Yeah.
So, and it's, if you like rocks and minerals and all that stuff, there's like a whole other museum almost of that in there. Just a bunch of that stuff to look at.
So if you're ever in the area in Midland, stop by and
Permian Basin Museum.
Permian Basin Museum. Yep, it's really cool. All right, off to our next stop.